Welcome to the Wokest Warren, where we have the Wokest Discourse. Today, I am going to talk about the Constitution. I'm specifically going to talk about the Constitution as a document that applies to every human being in the United States. That's not my opinion. That's the Supreme Court's opinion, okay? This is what I'm talking about. Normally what I do is I tell you my spin on things, but with regard to the Constitution, I'm just gonna tell you, what it means and what it's been interpreted to mean for a long time. All right. People are confused because there is this thing that is repeated constantly in the media. I hear it and I see it on Facebook constantly. It is a false statement. The false statement is that the Constitution does not apply to illegal aliens. Okay? Now, I don't love the term illegal aliens because I don't believe that anyone is illegal. I don't think you can designate a human being to be illegal. But I'm trying to talk in a language that everybody understands, okay? So we're going to refer to illegal aliens as undocumented, all right? So after, this, so from here on, whenever I say someone who's undocumented, I'm talking about what it is commonly referred to as an illegal alien. All right. Undocumented people have rights under the Constitution. The Constitution is in force in the United States. Okay? So there have been Supreme Court cases about this, and apparently if you're on a military base on foreign soil, it doesn't count. But if you're in the 50 states, 100%, that's not the border. There's other stuff that's included in that, like U.S. territories, like Puerto Rico. But if you're in the United States, if you're in Warren, Ohio, the full Constitution applies. Because it's not about the person. It's not about that person's illegal, so the Constitution doesn't apply to them. It's about the general principle, okay? So in the American tradition, it assumes this thing called natural rights, all right? And what that means is the writers of the Constitution thought that our rights come from the Creator. Now, they weren't Christian, really, mostly atheists, but they talked about a creator God, that was very common at the time. People believed that there was a God that was a creator, but they were pretty agnostic about the rest of it. So the idea is that your rights come from the Creator. So it doesn't matter what your political status is, because God doesn't recognize that, right? The idea that all men were created equal is legal basis. That's a legal idea about natural rights. So when you say things like, well, this doesn't apply to illegal aliens, basically, according to the Constitution, the only way that would be the case would be if undocumented persons were not human, like say they were dogs or canaries. Constitution doesn't apply to pets. But if you are a human being, the Constitution applies to you. Now, I know a lot of people don't believe in that. They don't agree with it. They're like, no, it shouldn't be that way. Okay? I hear it every day. People tell me this every day, that undocumented people shouldn't have rights. I don't even believe in rights, okay? So for me to argue whether they should or shouldn't doesn't make sense, with my cosmology. But generally, liberal people believe that undocumented people do have rights under the Constitution and should, okay? Because they buy into the whole Declaration of Independence, founders, all that, right? There are fascists who are like white supremacists, and they have the very American notion that these rights only apply to you if you're a white man, because that was the way the Constitution was interpreted for, the first 100 years, at least. So they think, well, if you're from another country or you're black or whatever, like, you don't have equal rights. And this is not this is in contravention of the law, okay? I'm saying this is an opinion that people have, and they're entitled to the opinion that they have. But the reality of when you actually go to court and you have a lawyer and you have a judge and a jury, the way the system works is human beings have equal rights under the Constitution, okay? So you may not like that, but the purpose of this video, the one thing I'm trying to get through your head is that is reality. The reality of our law and our system of law is that we have equal rights. Doesn't matter if you were born here or you were not born here. Doesn't matter if you speak English or you don't speak English. Doesn't matter if you're black or you're white. Equal rights for everybody, okay? And again, you may not agree with that. You may not think it should be that way, but that is the way that the courts interpret things. Now, if you want to make your own country and have your own laws, you can make it any fucking way you want to, right? And that's what's going on right now. Right now, we have basically a fascist takeover, okay? What they're trying to do is they're trying to get rid of the Constitution. What the fascists are trying to do, what the Trump regime is trying to do, is set up a theocracy with him at the head of it. Like a dictatorship. And a lot of you are into that, okay? I'm not into that. The majority of Americans are not into that, okay? There are probably like 20 to 30% of registered voters that are like really into doing a dictatorship right now. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that if you want to do that, you're wiping out like the fundamentals of the Constitution. That the government that you would then have would not be the same government that existed in 1975 when I was born. And it would not resemble the government even in 1790. Like, what the Trump regime is trying to do is they're trying to set up a whole new government. And I would like more conservatives to truly understand that, because I don't think that a lot of conservatives understand that. I think a lot of conservatives think, no, Trump is a conservative. He's trying to like have, this conservative government based on the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the Supreme Court and blah, 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 right? That is not what Trump is trying to do. Trump is trying to get rid of the whole thing and just everybody do what he says. Which I don't think is very conservative. I think that's wild. And why does he want to do that? Because he's making a fortune. He's making a fortune off of that. He goes on TV and is like, there's going to be a war. And the price of oil goes way up, okay? So him and all his rich friends know that on Tuesday he's going to go and say this at a press conference. So on Monday, they make all their stock trades and their bonds and their futures and all their capital, their financial bullshit or whatever. They mix it all up. It's called insider trading. And then the next day, when the news is announced and the market go crazy, they're positioned to make billions of dollars. We can't do that because we don't have billions of dollars, first of all. And number two, we don't have the information that Trump has. Like, Trump knows when Trump is going to do some stupid shit. So he calls up his investment broker the day before and is like, I need you to move some shit around. This is what Martha Stewart did, and that's why she went to federal prison. Because it's actually illegal to do that. Don't ask me any questions about that, because I don't understand that. I don't know anything about business law or finance law. All I know is Martha Stewart went to prison for it. It is not only illegal, it's criminally illegal. It's a felony. But Trump is just up here committing felonies every single day. On camera. It's not even a question. The only reason why he hasn't been impeached is because they don't have the votes in Congress. Okay, so back to the original point that I want to make. Just because someone is undocumented, the cops cannot arrest them without probable cause or a warrant. So if you're out here and, you are wearing a ski mask and you have a gun and you go into the gas station, the cop that's in there can arrest you because the probable cause is that you're like trying to commit a crime, right? I mean, you're wearing a mask, you have a gun, like, maybe you say to the cashier, give me all your money, the basic shit when someone does a robbery, right? So, and like, let's say you're a block away from where the robbery just happened and you're wearing a ski mask and carrying a gun. Okay, well, you're in the vicinity. You match the description. All right, you get this idea. Probable cause. Probable cause when you're driving a car, if you're weaving in and out of your lane going left of center, that's probable cause to pull you over for possible DUI. But if you're just driving along, minding your own business, well, traffic law is different. I don't know. All I know is, in order to arrest you, they have to have probable cause. And so here's the deal. People try to say, all right, being undocumented is a crime. Whatever. I don't think it is. I don't even care if it is. But say it is. Just for the sake of argument, it's a crime. It's a crime. It's a crime to be, in the United States, past your visa or whatever. But how does a cop fucking know that? How does a cop know that you are undocumented? I mean, if you walk up to a cop and you say, I overstayed my visa and I'm in the country illegally, that's probable cause. They can arrest you and take you away. You just told them. Okay? You just admitted to them. But if you don't say anything, now, I don't want anyone to get in trouble. In Ohio, if a cop asks you to identify yourself, you have to give them your name, your birthday, and your address, okay? So if you give them your name, your birthday, and the address, and they run your name through the system, and the computer comes back and says, you're in the country illegally, then they have probable cause to arrest you. But, let's just say, you're at the AMP watching a concert, and a cop cannot come up to you and be like, show me your papers. Okay, let me rephrase that. A cop can come up to you and say whatever the fuck he wants. You don't have to say shit back. You say, I'm going to exercise my Fifth Amendment, and I'm not going to say anything, and I would like a lawyer. That's all you have to say. You don't have to show them your fucking passport. You don't have to do fucking any of that. Okay? That's not what the Constitution of the United States says. You just don't say shit. Don't say shit. And they have to have probable cause to arrest you. Okay? Now, like I said, probable cause could be you were wearing a ski mask. I mean, it could be some stupid shit. But they have to have probable cause. And if you're at the AMP, minding your own business, watching a concert, and there's no probable cause, they can't arrest you for being undocumented. That's just how our legal system works, because we have a Fifth Amendment. We have a Fourth Amendment. They cannot arrest you without a fucking warrant. If they have no warrant and no probable cause. Now, if there's a warrant out with your name on it, most people understand this. That if there's a bench warrant with your name on it, and they run your name through the computer, and it comes up there's a warrant, you're going to jail. You're going to jail that night. You're going to be in there all weekend. But if there's no warrant, they got to let you go. Now, will they? They've just been kidnapping people. So this is not about what ICE will or won't do, or what the cops will or won't do. The cops in Warren rape people. Okay? So you never know what the fucking cops are going to do. You don't know. What I'm saying is they're not fucking allowed to. And, if they do that, you can sue them, possibly get paid. And that's how all this is going to end. If we don't have a full fascist takeover within the next year, which we probably will, If we don't have a full fascist takeover, like let's say Trump dies and the Democrats take the House back over again, the lawsuits, they're going to be going through the courts. People are going to be getting millions of dollars. These people that I shot, do you not think their families are not going to get millions of dollars in court? Yeah. Because, like, the cops executed their family members. Cops are not allowed to commit executions. It's not a legal right. Like, or to put it better, you have a legal right to not be executed by a cop. If you're going to be executed, you need to be found guilty by a jury of your peers. That's all I have to say about that. Please understand, undocumented people have constitutional rights. Thank you. Good night.